Yo, what's up, everybody? Yeah, we played in the Treasure Cup. And thank you to everybody that came out and showed some love and support. I really appreciate you guys. And we did not do as good as I thought we would. And I think that boils down to a few reasons. And I wanted to make this video to go over my thoughts of, the deck and some of the things that I think could be improved. But some of the ideas that I had going into it, I just think fell a little bit short, and I believe that there's just a couple of things that could have went a lot better, and I'll tell you what the first reason is. And you know what, I'm gonna slide over here because I'm gonna put all of them right up here. So the first reason, in my opinion, was the deck just needs a better pilot. I don't think the deck is bad necessarily. It's just that, and I don't think that I'm bad necessarily. I just think that I'm still kind of green to TCGs. I'm learning. I'm figuring out, what works best for me in certain scenarios and how I play as a player. But the deck definitely just needs a better pilot in order for it to do better, because I made simple mistakes in certain matchups that cost me the game. And, my first round was against Kinemon, and the player I was playing against, phenomenal guy, super fun to play against. He had a good sense of humor as well. And he ended up going 8-1. So I was like, whoa, I actually lost to one of the guys that I believe he got top 8. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain he got top 8. I know he was top 16 for sure. But yeah, first round, we ended up losing to him. And I actually had a moment that I was able to pull out the win, but I just made a simple mistake. And I'll be uploading that video as well as the others starting tomorrow, but just wanted to go over some of the rest of where I think the deck fell short. And I want to start by saying, I was part of the reason the deck fell short. Yeah, definitely made some mistakes, and I don't think I really had any tournament jitters. I just think that, I don't know, I think I had this tunnel vision of I've got the win here, go for it, not really thinking about the possibilities of my opponent having certain cards that would end that win condition. So lesson learned for sure. But I will say that I would say the second biggest thing in the deck that was kind of tough was, if you watch the deck profile yesterday, I'm running a hybrid of Straw Hat and Whitebeard cards, and the biggest thing that I noticed during the matches was just super inconsistent searches. I was searching with Nami, and I would draw like 3 or 4 Whitebeard cards that would have been really useful in that moment, and then I would hopefully get 1 Straw Hat card. Sometimes I would get none. I don't think I bricked very often. I think I maybe didn't get a full search through twice out of like the probably like 14-15 searches that I did or something like that. So not too bad on that, but just bottom decking really useful cards while running this hybrid Luffy felt terrible. It felt really, really bad. And yeah, it was tough. I bottom decked Marcos when I really needed them the most, and that was brutal. Absolutely brutal. And the same thing with the Whitebeard Pirates. I would use Whitebeard Pirates, and then I'd find a bunch of Straw Hat cards that I could have really used in the moment, such as like Radical Beam, or 5-drop Luffy, or 3-drop Zoro, or maybe even the 4-drop Brook. Yeah, so it felt tough. And speaking of the Brook, when I bottom deck one of those, it was really rough, because getting on to the next point, I ran too many like 3-ofs and 2-ofs in the deck that I wasn't consistent on drawing them. And then after I bottom decked 2 of something, I knew I only had 1 left of potentially getting, and it was either coming from life or it was coming from a search. And if I do a search, I could potentially miss it. I think that looking back and seeing some of the decks that performed really well, I mean, especially the Luffy that took first place, I looked at some of the deck list that was posted on Twitter last night, and it's just 4-ofs across the board. Consistency is key. being able to find the cards. If you bottom deck them, you still have more options of getting them later on through card draw, life, all that good stuff. So that was kind of brutal. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of brutal. But you know, the 3 ofs and 2 ofs that I was running, I think that, you know, I might have to do some tweaks if I want to still keep this hybrid Luffy going. But all in all, that was definitely that definitely hurt me in certain spots, especially during some of the searches. But you know, and you know, speaking of these 3 ofs, 2 ofs, and then the searches, there's a card that I run 4 of in the deck, and it is super necessary for this deck to perform well, and that's Marco. It's Marco. You have to have Marco, and without Marco, this deck has problems. And I learned that in one of my matchups. It was abysmal. Shout out to my man Donnie that, you know, we played a match yesterday and he drew nothing as a Zoro player. He was down bad. I had Nico Robin on board. I had Vistas in hand. You would be like, how do you lose that match when you have so much and he has nothing on board? He just constantly just put all of his Dawn under his leader and was swinging for my life. I did not draw a Marco to save my life. And after he played like 3 new gates in a row, I was like, well, I can't really deal with this and swing for life to try and get the win. And yeah, I ended up losing that match. It was a match that should have for sure 100% been in the bag. If I had drawn one single Marco, the game would have been over. I would have been able to protect my protect my new gate for 1 turn, and then go for life with that and leader, and I would have won. But without Marco, you know, I just didn't have much. I had only drawn 1 radical beam that game, so yeah, there was only so much I could do without the card. It's really important to how this deck works, and it's tough. It's honestly really tough. But you know, a lot of things that I noticed were that, you know, I have all these KO potential cards as well going into the next point that I was going to make. I have all these KO potential cards like Nico Robin, Vista, Jet Pistol, Newgate once he's down, but I didn't really have much of like reducing my opponent's power. The ideas were Otama and Brook, and Brook was amazing. Brook performed so well during this tournament. I was so happy with that card. I will 100% be running it again at some point once I figure out some tweaks to this deck. I think that card is massive, but it just wasn't enough for me to it felt so bad to play an Otama sometimes to lose a 2k out of hand if I didn't have a Marco down. You know, it just, and then the Brook, it does great 1 turn, but then the next turn, if I don't have enough to defend it, it's gone. So, you know, it's hard to get that in combo with Newgate all the time. I think that I got that combo maybe once this tournament. But yeah, I saw the first place Luffy deck profile, and it really didn't make sense to me at first when I saw, I think it was maybe a week or 2 ago, a very similar list running the deck, you know, and it performed very well. What didn't make sense to me was that it felt like you had no early to mid game, but you were absolutely destroying it late game because you had all of these like cards that were able to just reduce your opponent and KO, you know, pretty much anything using Gordons, because Gordons you just play on the field and then immediately toss away. It's and you can search it with Curly to Dawn in the deck. It made a lot of sense after I looked at it and watched one of the matches yesterday from the Core TCG tournament, and I realized that the idea behind the deck, at least from what I saw from the one match, seemed to be clear the board until you get Newgate down, and then once you have Newgate down, you have all these rush cards. They're super aggressive. You're playing Makino in combination with your Gordon and your Nami, and you're just swinging for just a ton of damage every single turn, you know, and it just felt like wow, you know, I didn't really think of it like that. And now I realize that that was less of like a hybrid take on Luffy, but more of a collected idea on power reduction, KO ability, and just maintaining, you know, the aggressive style that Red has, but also controlling the board through this KO potential, and even including Masked Deuce, which is like such a... the card's not even used in any deck until now. I mean, like, it's I love it. I love the idea, and it's super good. And but I think that where my deck personally fell was like a cross between Strawbeard and Boatbeard. But I think that it just felt like when I was playing against Boatbeard, it just felt like Newgate using the boat was like unbelievably better than my deck. It just felt like the better version of my deck, which is my last point, is that Boatbeard feels like you have consistency through your cards. You have you're running basically 4 ofs everything. I mean, there's 3 ofs some things, you know what I mean, but basically 4 ofs, and the cards are being drawn with pace because of your leader ability. You have tons of resources. You're getting those Marcos. I mean, like, if you somehow brick getting Marcos and that with that leader, it's like something went wrong. Like, something massive went wrong. But yeah, I think that these were my thoughts after playing in the matches, and I think that the games overall were good. I don't think that I necessarily played poorly. I think there was only one match that I played and it's hurting me just thinking about it right now. I played a Dofi, and I yet again had the win, and I made 2 huge mistakes in the game that were just so silly. I don't know why I did it. It was unfortunate that I just decided to do so in the moment. But, you know, you live and you learn. And that's the beauty of it, is, you know, like I've said in pretty much like all of my videos, as well as starting out this YouTube channel, I'm new to TCGs. I'm not new to competitive games, though. I've played competitive games and some professionally in my life, but I have not played a card game like this, or any for that matter, competitively, and trying to, you know, do the whole deck building process, as well as learning some of the moments that are key fundamentals for, you know, these TCGs. And I think that playing up against better players is always how I have increased my knowledge and increased, you know, just those small moments that I can learn on. And I love it. I love it, though. So as bad as I did record-wise, I don't think I did poorly as a player. And I think that it's only going to help me learn and grow from this. So I'm really excited for the Treasure Cup on the 27th. And just thank you again, everybody that came out, supported your boy. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are about the Treasure Cup, though. I will be posting the rest of the videos that we played in starting tomorrow. So I'll have one coming out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then Saturday, I'm hoping I'll be playing in an event, and then Sunday I fly out for 8 days, so I'm going to hopefully just have some other videos planned by then. But that's about it, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see y'all in the next one, okay? Peace.